You know that kid in kindergarten, the one who wasn't the biggest, wasn't the fastest, but somehow ran the entire sandbox? Give me your juice box. Why? Because yesterday I pushed Tyler off the slide, and Tyler is twice my size, so give me your juice box. That's MS-13. That's how it worked for 30 years in El Salvador. Not through ideology, not through politics, through extortion and the understanding that saying no was never an option. Now, imagine the kindergarten hires a new teacher. He's young, he wears sunglasses indoors, he's got 1 million followers on Instagram. He is, frankly, way too cool to be working at a kindergarten. He tells the whole sandbox, "I'm going to stop the bullying." And he does. He really does. Nap time is peaceful, the sandbox is safe, nobody's had their juice box stolen in months. Life is good. But then you find out how he did it, and suddenly, the teacher is scarier than the bully ever was. In the 1980s, El Salvador was tearing itself apart. A civil war that killed 75,000 people sent hundreds of thousands of refugees north to Los Angeles. And in the streets of LA, Salvadoran kids who had nothing formed a gang to survive. They called it Mara Salvatrucha, MS-13. We have a gang problem. Well, so do we just had a civil war. Oh, perfect. Here are 4,000 of our gang members. Good luck. Wait, we don't have police. Sounds like a you problem. Through the 1990s, the US deported roughly 4,000 gang members back to a country with no institutions, no infrastructure, and no way to contain them. 2 decades later, those 4,000 had become 60,000. That's more growth than your older brother's facial hair managed between 13 and 18. At that time, MS-13 and its rival gang, Barrio 18, controlled roughly 80% of Salvadoran territory, not through ideology, not through politics, but through something much simpler: fear, delivered $10 at a time. Just you and me, Maria. 40 years. People say you can't fall in love with a plant. I say those people have never tried. Hey, rent's due. But I paid last week. New week. I can't afford that. You can't afford not to. Oh, Maria, please don't leave me. That was the extortion economy. Every farmer, every shop owner, every bus driver, $10 here, $50 there, collected weekly, enforced with death. The total, $4 billion a year. An invisible tax on poverty that no government could stop and no citizen could refuse. Like when a lunch bully at kindergarten eats your cookie and there's nothing you could do. And here's the part that blows your mind. If MS-13 divided its annual revenue among its 40,000 members, each one earned less than $800 a year. The most feared criminal organization in the Americas was also its worst employer. Your babysitter makes more per month. Every few years, a new president promised to fix it. New president, same promise. More soldiers, more arrests, more gang members. Because it turns out, locking a bunch of gang members in the same building isn't a punishment. It's a networking event, or, as you would understand, a playdate with a new friend. What are you in for? Extortion. You? Same. What district? Soyapango? No way, I've been trying to expand there. Really? Best friends alert. This happened in 2003. It happened again in 2004. It happened again in 2012. 3 presidents, 3 attempts, same ending every time. The country has tried iron fists, negotiations, and truces. All of it failed. So what happens when a nation runs out of options? Enter a 37-year-old in a backward baseball cap whose biggest qualification was being really, really good at Twitter. Nayib Bukele was not supposed to be president. He ran an advertising agency. No military background, no political dynasty. His party was 2 years old and called Nuevas Ideas, literally new ideas. His entire campaign strategy was social media. You have no experience, no party, no allies in Congress. You can't just tweet your way into... What did you say? In 2019, he won the presidency in a landslide, and almost immediately, he started doing things that made people nervous. Not innocent nervous like, you spilled juice all over you. Real nervous like, why is there an army in the building? On February 9, 2020, Bukele wanted the legislature to approve a $109 million security package. They said no. Sir, the assembly won't approve the funding. Invite them to reconsider. How? Bring the army. To Congress? To Congress. Sir, that's persuasion. Armed soldiers in battle fatigues walked into the Salvadoran Legislative Assembly, rifles in the chamber, boots on the marble floor. Bukele sat down in the speaker's chair, awaiting his plan to unfold. The international community lost its mind. Critics called him a dictator, and Bukele, being Bukele, responded the only way he knew how. He changed his Twitter bio. And while the world was busy debating whether he was joking, Bukele decided the country also needed a financial revolution. Sir, the country needs a financial strategy. Buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin? All of it. The price is at $50,000. It's extremely volatile, and we're a country of— You think I'm stupid? In September 2021, El Salvador became the first country on earth to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. Every business was required to accept it. The government bought millions of dollars worth. The price crashed to $60,000. Hundreds of millions gone. That's more farts than your entire body will ever make. But none of it mattered. His approval rating kept climbing because Bukele had done something no president before him ever had. A secret that was making the murder rate disappear. But the secret wasn't what anyone thought it was. In 2020, Bukele's government sent a man named Carlos Marroquin to have a secret conversation with an MS-13 leader. His official title was the Director of Social Fabric Reconstruction. Yet his real job was very different. The president needs the numbers down. Numbers cost money. Better prisons, transfers to nicer facilities, economic programs for your communities. And if we say no, then the army doesn't come for the other gangs. It comes for you. Every cell, every block, every family member we have a name for. Well, how much nicer are these facilities? Nicer than this conversation. Okay, keep talking. The deal was simple. Gangs lower the murder rate, government rewards them with prison benefits, facility transfers, and economic concessions. Nobody talks about it, the cameras never find out. Except someone was recording. In 2022, the Salvadoran investigative outlet El Faro published audio recordings of these negotiations. Marroquin's voice, confirmed, specific terms discussed, on tape. The Director of Social Fabric Reconstruction had been reconstructing social fabric by making backroom deals with the people who tore it apart. But you know what? Unlike taking away the iPad and expecting you to go touch grass, this was working. The murder rate was plummeting. International media praised Bukele. His approval rating soared. And Bukele? He had a very different explanation for why things were improving. President Bukele, how did you achieve such a dramatic reduction in murders? Discipline, vision, leadership. The will to act where others hesitate, the courage to make difficult, so no negotiations with gang leaders? Carlos? Where was I? The courage to make difficult choices that others won't. But deals with gangs have the same shelf life as leaving your ice cream in the sun. By late 2021, the terms were falling apart. The gangs wanted more. The government stopped delivering, and when the deal collapsed, MS-13 decided to remind everyone what they were capable of. Friday, March 25, 2022, 26 dead. Saturday, 34. Sunday, 27. 87 people, 72 hours. The single deadliest weekend El Salvador had seen in years, in a country that had seen plenty of deadly weekends. The deal was over, and Bukele was about to do something no Salvadoran president had ever done. Not because the idea was new, but because this time, there was no one left to stop him. On March 27, 2022, 2 days after the killing started, Bukele's Congress approved a state of exception. Think of it like this. Your country has an emergency button. When you press it, certain rights get paused. The right to a lawyer, the right to know why you're being arrested, the right to challenge your detention. It's designed for disasters. Earthquakes, invasions, the iPad died. 30 days, then everything goes back to normal. Bukele pressed the button. This is a 30-day emergency measure. Renewed. It's been 30 days. Renewed. It's been 6 months. Renewed. It's been a year. Renewed. Come on, man, it's been 4 years. What part of renewed is confusing you? Everything suspended permanently, and the arrests started immediately. 91,000 people in a country of 6 million. El Salvador now jails more of its own people per person than anywhere on Earth. Higher than the United States, higher than China, higher than anywhere. Google it. And Bukele wasn't just arresting people, he was putting on a show. On December 3, 2022, he deployed 10,000 soldiers, 8,500 army, 1,500 police to surround the entire city of Soyapango. Population 241,000. Not a neighborhood, not a block, an entire city, sealed off. The order, arrest every gang member inside. Then came the mega prison. $100 million, 40,000 inmates, no windows, no trials, and at the time it opened, almost none of them had been convicted of anything. The prison wasn't built for justice, it was built for content. The transfer videos were produced by Bukele's own media team, released on his social media, shared millions of times around the world. It looked like a movie. That was the point. And the results? The murder rate dropped from 103 per 100,000 to 2.4, a 97% decline. Streets that had been war zones for 30 years were safe for the first time in living memory. Parents walked their children to school. Shops stayed open after dark. People exhaled. Bukele's approval rating hit 85%, the highest of any leader in the Americas, maybe the world. The gangs were gone, the streets were safe, the president was the most popular man on the continent. So what was there left to worry about? How many arrests this week? 47. Target is 60. There aren't 60 gang members in this district? Then find 60 people. Sir, I can't just... You want to explain that to Bukele? Didn't think so. One of those 60 people was a young man named Jorge Luis. He was walking home from his mother's vegetable stand outside San Salvador. No criminal record, no gang tattoos, no history of violence, no charges. Under the state of exception, they didn't need any of it. His mother saw him leave. She never saw him come back. He wasn't the only one. Human Rights Watch documented children, minors from low-income communities, arrested under the same system. Kids who had already been victimized by the gangs, now arrested by the crackdown that was supposed to protect them. And while families like Maribel's were searching for answers, Bukele's government had another secret. Remember Carlos Marroquin, the director of Social Fabric Reconstruction, the man who negotiated the deal with the gangs? In November 2021, months before the crackdown even started, Marroquin walked into a Salvadoran prison and personally escorted out one of the most wanted MS-13 leaders on Earth. His name was Elmer Canales Rivera, or better known as Crook de Hollywood. He had been in prison for multiple murders, including a case where he helped suffocate a fellow gang member with insecticide. The United States had an active extradition request for him. Interpol had a notice on him, and Carlos Marroquin walked him out the front door. We had an extradition order on this man. He escaped from a maximum security prison while your official was photographed at the facility. How? These things happen. Where is he now? We're looking into it. They weren't looking into it. They'd opened the door for the MS-13 leader. Canales was eventually caught in Mexico and turned over to U.S. authorities. He's currently awaiting trial. The man marketing himself as the world's toughest anti-gang leader was breaking gang leaders out of prison. And maybe the most uncomfortable part of the story isn't what Bukele did. It's that the people said yes. For 30 years, they had buried friends and cousins and sons. They had paid rent to gangs just to stay alive. And when someone finally said, "I will make you safe," they took it. They didn't ask how. They didn't ask who else would pay. And you can't blame them for that. After 30 years, yes wasn't even a choice. It was a reflex. But yes had a price they never agreed to. Innocent sons who never came home, children locked in cells meant for killers, and behind closed doors, the very gang leaders they thought were gone walked out the front gate by the same government that promised to destroy them. This wasn't a story about a president who locked up gang members. It was about the deal every society eventually faces. How much freedom would you trade for safety? Bukele offer that deal? 85% said yes. How many of them know what they said yes to?